Okay, just in case this is your first experience with a 3-jaw chuck, these positions are numbered. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and the jaws are, I re-stamped mine, are numbered likewise, and they need to go in that direction. And we'll get into that a little later. For right now, I want to remove this scroll. And I believe I just need to tap it out from the top down. Trying to figure out how much of it is going to come out. It looks like it's all one piece in there. So let's let me get a small punch. A small hammer. I'm going to come in here where I'm not. Okay. Well, I expected to see a lot more chips in there. Well, this is pretty bad. There may be enough in there to slow things down. So we're down to the basic parts now. This all seems to be one piece. There's a machine surface down the bottom. There's 3 machine surfaces. And they correspond with the scroll. So I need to get all this cleaned up, oiled up, and we will reassemble and see if we can't get this thing running a little smoother. Okay, I got everything cleaned up. Probably more beneficial. I got 4 of my files nice and clean in the process. You don't need this. You don't need this. I basically blew everything off with the compressed air. I soaked it all down with WD-40 just as a cleaning agent. Wiped it down, blew it dry, and we're ready for reassembly. Now, as far as lubrication, I'm kind of hesitant. These edges are very sharp. I'm not sure if I should touch them or not. I'm not going to mess with it. I don't really want to put any grease in here because grease is just going to hold chips. But then again, we're not talking about a $3,000 chuck here either. So I think I may just touch this surface with a little grease and allow that to turn a little easier, that scroll to turn a little easier. So I got some red and tacky, and I mean literally that's too much. There's not much grease there. I just like to get the flat surface and avoid getting it down on the sides. So that doesn't seem like much, but that's going to be all. So we're going to drop that down in there, and so I feel like I should be able to turn that. Just to make sure it's down all the way. See, I'm just wondering if that's too tight. Seems like I should be able to spin that with my fingers. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm down all the way. Let's although I don't, it looks like I'm high here. You know what? I'm against my better judgment. I am going to knock this back out. And I'm going to put some grease on this surface here. I'm going to end up with a whole bunch of grease on this thing. I never really wanted to. Okay, so there's that surface. I can't reach that down there, but get some more grease on the leading edge of this. I'm going to tap that down. I'm getting ready to retire, so I'm going to have some time on my hands. Now, aside from, now look at that. Yeah, I feel much better about that. So I'm going to have some time on my hands. Now I have a house. The property I bought is it's the Old Country Store, and do I want to grease any of this? Just a little bit. It's the old country store, and this place sat vacant for 11 years before I got here. Now there's a living quarters behind the store, same building, and that was converted into storage, so it's kind of weird. All the doorways were taken out, and turned into arches. So everything, all the door openings are now a little wider than a standard door opening, which causes an issue or two. Had to relocate the electric coming into the building. So basically all the wiring there is I had to do. Plumbing, PVC, before PEX came out, the first generation of plastic plumbing is what I have. And of course, I cleaned the walls, primed them, painted them, turned the water on, and eventually 4x8 sheet of drywall ended up falling out of the ceiling under the upstairs bathtub. And I haven't done anything about that as of yet. I guess what I'm really trying to say is the living quarters itself needs some work. On the other hand, the store is just a shell. I have one electrical outlet in the store. And that's not a problem. I can bring a line over and put a sub box in, I think they call it. But currently there's no electricity over there, just the one socket. And I want to do something with that building. With that, I'm in the country in the middle of nowhere, but I'm also kind of on a major intersection. I'm right on a state route, on a corner. You have to turn to remain on the state route. You have to turn that corner. And somebody suggested putting a billboard on the side of the building, and there's a lot of traffic and blah blah blah. What I would love to do is go in there and reinforce the floors, and build a machine shop in there, but not really my machine shop. I think it would be called a co-op, where it would be a membership, and you would pay monthly dues, and that would go for the cost of electricity, maintenance on the machines, the purchase of machines, and it provide a space for people to come in and do machining that they can't do it at home. They don't have the space. know if this is gonna, if that would be, I don't think it's gonna make me rich. I think it would probably just barely sustain itself. As a matter of fact, it would probably end up costing me money. But, you know what, sometimes that doesn't matter. If I can, if it can provide happiness for me, give me peace of mind, able to help other people, you know, I don't need to make money over there to buy my groceries. But I want to go kind of get busy on that in my retirement. It's probably the first thing I'm going to do while I'm thinking about what other things I might do. Kind of liking the idea of maybe taking some classes and learning machining. You know, community colleges in the area. We got vocational schools. It's possible that there are companies out there that are asking these schools to train people doing specific jobs. Okay, so I'm going to set this up here. So in case you've never seen this before and it's your first 3-jaw chuck, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my chuck key out here, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this spring first. I'll put the spring back on, trust me. Okay. Now I'm going to bring you in a little closer here. Now you see the number 1. And you see the scroll down here. You see there's 2, let's call them 2 teeth. There's 2 threads there visible. So as I turn the scroll, there comes a 3rd one. Okay? So I'm going to back that up where there's only 2. I'm going to take my number 1 jaw, set it in place. I'm going to hold a little pressure on it, and I'm going to turn this. Now that is engaged. Now over here we have 2 teeth, 2 threads on our scroll. Okay, so we're going to keep turning. Now there's 3. So let's back the 3 up. Go ahead and take our number 2 jaw. A little pressure. Now that is secured. Now we have the number 3, and we have 2 teeth showing, and there's the 3rd. So we're going to break that back again. A little pressure, and that is engaged. Okay, now that's timing these jaws so that they're all going to meet in the middle. This is where I was sticking before. There's no sticking now. And if you look closely, you see a nice deep groove here, here, here. Those are crashes, unfortunately. Okay, so there's the cleaning and maintenance of the 3-jaw. Do we dare do the installation of it? Okay. So there's 3 nuts here, right? And there's little studs here, right? Now, you can't really thread those studs in all the way, right? Because if you take them in too far, then you'll have nothing to secure this nut to, right? So we need to figure out how much we want to stick out. And it's not critical at all, right? What is important is with this surface here is clean, and here it's going to index that inner ring. So this is, I also usually check out my taper. It's an MT3. Okay, that's not one of them. It's got to be one of them. It's going to be boring. There's 1, 2, 3. There we go. And we got enough thread sticking out there. I'm kind of funny about the nuts. They have writing on one side, and the writing has to be facing out in my world. This is one thing that I really wonder about. Am I going to be able to do this in 10 years? It takes a certain amount of dexterity. Sometimes you can get them right on there, and sometimes not so much. Damn it, I had that one. Okay, there we go. So, before the year's out, we're going to be working on my building and looking into the possibility of a machinist co-op. And yeah. There might be there might be a case of a lot of stuff being donated. Okay. Somebody might just decide to turn it into his own personal shop, or at least have the vision that share with me that make it possible for more people to be involved in this trade. Hell, it might even turn into a learning center. Classes could be taught. I like that idea. Okay. I'm not going to go crazy on that. I will, as I promised, put the spring back on the chuck key. Right. I mean, it's there for a reason. If you've been doing this for 30 years and you don't need a spring on there, I still find myself turning this thing on with that key there. Fortunately, this thing doesn't start at 100 miles, real fast. It's kind of power on. It's kind of well, I came out here to chuck up this piece of brass, and I ended up taking my chuck apart, but glad I did.